I never expected to be this long with celebrity. I was doing a show in Macau called Electron, and the show didn't. It was a fantastic show, but unfortunately had to close. And then I just needed a job, like you do. So cruise ships is always like a backup. And I came to celebrity, and I would feel so welcomed. And I was like, okay, these shows are not so bad. I like them. Think through all these things and make sure all of these things are properly documented and trained and rehearsed, but also that they're not so complicated that 6 months down the line we cannot do them again because X or Y and Z. So I really like that, and just having that feeling of accomplishing a goal together, being able to collaborate to solve problems. It's what I like the most, and the ability to do this with people you like, to foster a good team.
Welcome to the Theater Art Life podcast. Tania Ordoñez is joining us today to talk about technical direction. Tania has always had a passion for technical theater. She moved from her hometown Chihuahua in Mexico to Mexico City, where she began as a production assistant in Teatro Telcel. She rose quickly through the ranks, bringing Broadway shows like Mary Poppins and Wicked to Mexico. Over the past 15 years, she has worked for companies such as Cirque du Soleil, Dragone, and Disney, and has experience in developing, supporting, and operating all aspects of theater, concert, circus, and spectacle on land and at sea. After joining Celebrity in 2019 as a technical director on Edge, Tania has been the inaugural technical director for Apex and has been technical director in the shipyard in Saint Nazaire for new builds Beyond and Ascent. Hello, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Really excited to be here.
Hola, hola, hola.
Hola.
So tell us a little bit, how do you get into technical theater in Chihuahua?
I've always liked entertainment. I was one of those kids in high school who makes the concerts for the school student board, student body stuff like that. So I was always very involved in school politics, and part of being school politics in Mexico is throwing parties, and that's how I started to know that lighting consoles exist and sound consoles exist. I got the opportunity to be like a roadie, like someone who goes and buys coffee for a local festival in Chihuahua. So I would drive the text to get whatever, and they let me be front of house, and I just get like that experience of being front of house, behind the gate, wearing blacks, making lights and sound happen. Really interest me. So uh, I never had like this technical training or background, but I could speak English. So I was used a lot to translate from international technicians or designers to local crews. And I did that like as my high school job. So that was my first encounter with technical aspects of a show. And after that, I just fell in love. The first time I got to do theater, I was like, oh, wow, this is like concerts, but better, but perfect, right? Because I feel like concerts are always quite rough, at least like touring and stuff. So like, and theater is like meant to be rehearsed and meant to be perfect each time, and so intimate. So I just was very lucky. I got the chance to start working in Mexico City. Uh, and I was lucky that I ended up in Ocesa, which is the biggest company that does entertainment in Mexico. And yeah, they welcomed me, and I was very young, and they trained me and let me learn. And it all was because I could speak English and I knew stage right and stage left, and it started that way, right? I got great teachers back there. Mexico City has a great culture of if you're if you're a stagehand, it's because your father was a stagehand and your grandfather was a stagehand. So there's this tradition of teaching the young, and I was very welcomed by these teams and looked after and fostered, and those are my great first teachers, right? Of, I don't know, on the fly loft, moving buttons and changing the counterweights and fixing props, or coiling cable, all that sorts of fun stuff that happens on a Mexico City theater. So it all started there. I never expected for this to be the only career I ever got. I always thought I was going to be a politician.
So you're still into politics?
Well, I guess like corporate politics, I guess these days. But yeah, yeah. I just got there by chance, and it was not planned. I actually dropped out. I was in uni studying political sciences, and then I just got a job in Mexico City and dropped out and stayed in Mexico City working in a theater. So it's just been great.
Well, that sounds like great.
It was so cool. It was one of like the old telenovela style. I left one day. I told my parents I'm in Mexico City. I'm never going back. And my father didn't speak to me for 6 months, and then came back. And then okay, we made pieces. We are happy again. But it was this process of like, how come are you not gonna finish your university studies? So it was a big deal. But it was the thing, like very, very like telenovela style. It was very dramatic, but it was great.
But you did end up going back to school to do more technical theater stuff, yeah?
Yeah. So after a while, I did. I mean, I took infinite amount of classes and like trainings by vendors. Ocesa did send me to New York a couple of times to train automation to be able to bring the shows to Mexico City. And I knew drafting, and I knew like it's not that I knew absolutely nothing, but yeah. And then I got a scholarship from Stagecraft Institute of Las Vegas, which is this very intensive program that used to be sponsored by. It doesn't exist anymore, but it used to be sponsored like companies by Cirque, Solotech, and then all these very great teachers would come, or Vectorworks, or like they will like the guy who did Vectorworks will come and teach you Vectorworks. Or I took my ETC class with Ann Valentino, which is the one who developed the EOS software. So you got to get very good hands-on experience by top people. So that was a pivot, I think, in my career, to be able to not only get access to all of this gear, but also to see the bigger shows, right? So that was good. And after that, it was a good opportunity. I got hired by Disney Cruise Lines, and that was also like a very good learning opportunity for myself, to try and get it like to a more pro level or world standards level. If you know what I mean? It's good.
So that's why
And
you
I've
go
been
back to cruise ships then. It's there's like some sort of appreciation there.
Yeah,
Connection.
I do appreciate that. And also, I never expected to be this long with celebrity. I was doing a show in Macau called Electron, and the show didn't. It was a fantastic show, but unfortunately had to close. And then I just needed a job, like you do. So cruise ships is always like a backup. And I came to celebrity, and I would feel so welcomed. And I say, okay, these shows are not so bad. I like them. And I'm running shows in Navigator, which is great, and I love. So it was like this opportunity to play with toys I would like, with people I like. And yeah, I just feel very comfortable staying here. Like it's been great 4 years, and having the opportunity to be at the shipyard and doing all the inspections and having a say on the drawings and having a say on the gear we buy, and how we organize the shows and how we fit them in and how we make them work with the constraints of a ship. That's also really exciting, and it feels like, I don't know, maybe it's a very niche um, skill, but I enjoy it, and it's great. It's been good. You're able to bring a little bit of I don't know, the learnings from a big show like House of Dancing Water, where everything is absolutely set in stone and very well rehearsed and very ready for absolutely everything. Everybody's super trained, and then it combines like my other experience, which is like in Mexico, where people are less trained or rules don't apply the same, and then it's just trying to balance those two. How do we do this safe with the people we get and make it still fun and good and amazing? So I feel like here I've been able to use both worlds, and it fits quite well, and I really enjoy it.
So is that where you think it's niche because it's a mix of like very high level with a little bit of, I don't know, a very diverse crew, so to speak?
Yeah, and the fact that cruise ship crews change a lot, right? People do tag team on the gangway, and off you go. And now you have to learn your track in 10 minutes, and well, not 10 minutes. We will try to do it better, but you know what I mean. The turnaround is really quick. There's a lot that can go change. There's a lot of very various. The crew, cruise ships are a great place for like young technicians to come and play with expensive toys, and then there's also like technicians that are like, I just do cruise ships, and then this is what they want to do. So they've been doing it for 20 years. So you get like this combination of different levels of skills and backgrounds and ways of doing things. So everything needs to be thought of so anyone can do it and anyone can do it right and safe. So you have to like sort of think through all these things and make sure all of these things are properly documented and trained and rehearsed, but also that they're not so complicated that down 6 months down the line we cannot do them again because X or Y and Z. So I really like that, and I think that's what makes it niche, trying to push the envelope or trying to achieve more and more while keeping it simple and runnable, right? Because as you know, ships have 4 or 5 technicians in a theater, and if we were trying to do the same thing on a theater and land, we will be having 30 technicians, like a whole department. So it's just gotta keep it nice and clean.
You develop your shows in-house and then plan for all of this, or you have partnerships? I know at some point Celebrity had a partnership with ABT. I don't know if they still have it.
At the moment, with like because of COVID and all that stuff, I think that's sort kind of on hold. But yeah, it's a little bit like what we did with ABT, or we also partner with lots of producing teams. So then they will come and bring the shows, and part of my role is to help them fit their show or their idea to our gear and to our constraints on the ship, and it goes everything from a light plot or what kind of sound system we use or how do you fit through the door, how many moves you can actually have because of the technicians you have available, things like that. So I help them like narrow their creative ideas and technical ideas towards what we already have, because we use the same theater to do different shows, so they don't have a say, let's say, on the lighting rig or things like that. So it's just kind of like fit them in our constraints, and I really enjoy it because you also get to collaborate with very good people out there, very good designers, technicians, and it's just a very great mix of.
How long is the process you go through from when they say, okay, we're building this new ship, we want you there, and then from there you start working on that project until you, let's say, open your first show?
And now a note from our sponsor.
The Theatre Art Live podcast is proud to be sponsored by Clearcom. Clearcom is the leader in voice communications for theatre and the performing arts. Call your cues with the simplicity and elegance of Clearcom Intercom solutions. You can find them at clearcom.com. Go check them out.
Yeah, I would say I've spent 8 months on site, right? And the idea being, as you know, maybe know, the ships are built from top to bottom. So when there's the stage where there's the theater is just scaffolding, and they're even hanging the lights and hanging whatever outfitting for the architectural ceiling, and it's all done and it's all perfect. And then on the decks below, it's just nothing. So they finish the ceiling. For me, that's super wild because the fixtures go up like maybe 10 months before delivery and before other stuff like the floor marley or the seats. So I would go up, maybe get the chance to see what's up with the ceiling, what's up with the lighting fixtures, what's up with the speakers, and then I stay throughout. So I like 8 months, I think, is
Do you get some
my
prep time
participation.
before the shipyard?
Yeah, I do. Like I would do 8 months on site, and the planning it takes about 2 years, right? Depending on how early on the game you arrive. But for this one, I would say I've been involved in the developing of the ship Ascent that I'm right now, like a year and a half, maybe. Because as we're building, they have to build them 5 at a time, more or less, 4 or 5. They never build just one. So as you build one, you're planning the next one, and you're planning the next one, and making sure you make the edits to the drawing so things are in the place you need them. Or if we're to switch from a technology to another technology, all of those things are considered. Also, it takes like 2 years to build a ship. So if you build 5, by the time you're on the last one, the technology has evolved so much, right? So you need to be thinking how you make the ship updated. So you sail with the latest possible technology so it can live for like 30 years, which is I think the goal for ships to last.
So you're right now planning, let's say, the next 2 ships while working on one, and you're putting up the latest technology of today on this one, but bidding for the latest technology in 2 years from now or something like that.
Yeah, we're hoping we're hoping to have exactly that. And a lot of stuff that we have on Edge, which is our first in series, is already end of life, right? Or there's already not being made anymore. So you have to sort of look out for that type of stuff.
And how many venues do you have to manage or fit?
So there's entertainment venues. We would have, let's say, we have a theater, we have a club, we have a grand plaza, we have an aft lounge, which we call Eden. We also have the pool deck, another like resort deck. We have rooftop garden, a sunset bar, and all of them are like different in complexity, right? Obviously, the theater being the main entertainment venue and the club, but we have some level of involvement in all of them, and we are part of the networks for the whole background music. So there's also a lot of work on those things as well to make sure that everything is connected properly and everything talks to everything and it all works. Ships is a wild environment. If the music goes off in the spa, maybe you need to go fix the music on the spa sometimes. It's also part of the gig. It's okay.
Sounds fun. Well, what can I say?
You know very well.
A little bit. But in between this Disney and celebrity. You also did MSC. You also did Cirque du Soleil. You also did Dragone. You've done a wide array of different jobs around the world.
Yeah, I've been really lucky. I can say. Um, yeah, I think so. I did Hoya for a little bit in Mexico City. That was also really good for me to learn Cirque du Soleil show, right? And all their standards and how they work is really impressive. Also had great teachers there, and that got me the chance to go to Macau, where it's a different world, right? I was like so good. 300 people working in one show. Wow, it was amazing. It was a great opportunity. Uh, and you're like, you have to, we're gonna give you your scuba diver license. So like, what? Me? Of all these 300 people, it's me who has to go tie that nut inside the water? Okay, cool. And so it was really great. Like, I still cannot believe it.
That's cool.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
at some point I was diving with a wrench. That's great. Like,
Been there, done that.
it's like, what? It's a
No,
very
that's
great
so
experience.
cool. So what would you say has been the biggest challenge throughout your career?
Ooh, I don't, I mean, for sure, there's been many, many challenges, right? Like, I can, but I don't know what I will point out as the biggest one. Um, because I've been really supported all along, and I don't know, sometimes people, I guess, you don't get along or you don't fit in, right? But I don't know. I don't think I have like this has been my biggest challenge and this is how I overcome it. It's just there's nothing really that comes to my mind on terms like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I forget too quickly.
So when you talk about sometimes you don't fit in with the show, the team, the
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. As a woman coming from Mexico with a different sense of humor than maybe my other male colleagues from the UK or from the US, who I don't know. Maybe it's like, oh, this is not my vibe. I felt that like that sometimes, but not necessarily that that's a work related thing. But when you're with people at the in the same room at all times, well, work
it
becomes
becomes a
life and life
work
becomes
related
work.
thing.
Yeah, so I think that's like kind of like, oh, if I can look back, I was like, maybe I didn't really like that, but it's not necessarily something professional. It's just uh, the way the industry works. Or
Do you think if you were to be put in that situation again that now you realize that you didn't like, would you speak up? Would you change anything?
I don't know, really, it's hard to tell.
Fair enough. So with that, has there been a lesson that you've learned that says you've said yes, this was pretty cool to learn, or this was like a big lesson, changing lesson?
So, oh well, I guess I can say when I was working at House of Dancing Water, I at all times feel very intimidated by all my colleagues who were like super super experienced and super good at what they're doing, and I admire and respect them. And I feel like I never had the level, so I was always like not confident enough of what I was doing. But after I left the House of Dancing Water and I started to do like Electron and I started working on for Celebrity and for other stuff, I realized, oh, I am very good and I can do this too. And it was I, I am at the level that's required. So that was really good.
That's cool. Well, congratulations. On my end, just disclosure, we've never met. Uh, but I've heard only very good things from many people, from the PRG people in New York, people from Hong
Really?
Kong, people from, and everyone's like, "How come you don't know her? She's
Um,
awesome. She's very good at her job."
BRG, oh my god, I love those guys. They were like I sold their cables with those guys for a whole summer.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're so good. Yeah,
Every
I feel we were meant to meet.
yeah, every time I meet someone that's met you, it's like, oh, you surely know Tanya is another TD from Mexico. Like, no, but at this point, yes, but not really.
it, it's weird, but the technical director I replaced in No Cesa was a woman, which I like Adriana Viti, which is like a great old school technical director. And I feel the technical director they have right now there in Mexico City, like doing the CESA shows, it's also a woman. I was a woman, you're a woman, so maybe great female technical directors come from Mexico.
I guess so. So, what do you say is your favorite thing about your job?
People, I think people is the thing I like the least, but also the thing I love the most. Just having that feeling of sharing, accomplishing a goal together, being able to collaborate to solve problems. It's what I like the most, and the ability to do this with people you like, to foster a good team, right? Like the work is going to be hard, of course. We're going to work long hours, but at the end of the day, if we know that we have our backs and we work together, for me that's really great. Knowing that I have a good team, that I've been able to develop a good team, that I am part of a good team as well. So for me, that's very rewarding feeling. And I mean, problems we can always solve them, but as long as the environment stays positive and fun, I guess, because we do theater to have fun.
We try.
Yeah,
For sure.
we could be bankers, but we're theater technicians, so there must be some element of fun there.
And if you could change anything about your job or the industry, what would you change?
Um, oh, you have very deep questions for me. Uh, I was definitely not ready for that. I always say I would like to travel more, but now that I travel a lot, I would say I would like to travel less. So it's kind of like, dude, like
Make up your mind.
yeah, make up your mind. Um, Before I used to think, oh, I wish I had a say on how the ships are built because this is not good. And now that I have say on how the ships are built, I was like, oh, I wish I didn't have to say so much about this. So I don't really know what
That's
would I
funny.
change.
I learned when I was very young that I should be careful with what I dreamt because dreams come true.
They do,
Uh,
they do.
and at some point when I was a teenager, I said, "Oh, I need to leave Mexico. I don't want to be here anymore. I need." And then all of a sudden, I don't know what did my dad do, what happened, but I ended up moving to France for a year. And then I came back and I said, okay, noted, this happened. And then maybe 10, not even like 6 years later, I said, oh, I wish I could live in a city with no cars. You know, where's the city with no cars? I got an internship in Venice and there's no cars. It was pretty cool. So yeah, keep on dreaming, but be certain
Yeah, yeah.
to aim to where
It's
you
just
want to
like
go.
that. And about the industry itself, I wish it was more accessible, right? I feel like, at least for us in Mexico, I wish we didn't have to change our countries and speak different languages to be able to have access to work in the stages of the world. I think after Hoya, or maybe this is my perception, a lot of techs were able to, if you work in Hoya for a little bit, then they're all over the world right now, which is really great. I have very good friends working in Cirque and Dragone and La Pearl, traveling, so yeah, or doing ceremonies, like things we didn't dream of before. So that's good. but I'm sure it's not only about Mexico. I'm sure there's other countries that have and can produce very good um, technicians, and not only technicians, I guess, like talent, right?
Yeah. Okay, if you could recommend someone, or should suggest someone to be a guest on the podcast, who would you recommend? Who would you love to hear an interview with? Say, oh, I would love to talk to this person or listen to this person talk about this.
Ooh, maybe I would like to interview. I don't know. I'm really into technology, so maybe the guys at Moment Factory who do all those crazy video mappings. I can also think of there's this German company that does kinetic lighting that have very, very cool stuff to say. I would invite them for sure. I don't know, someone who's doing cool, beautiful technology. I think that will be my call.
Do you know the name of the German company?
It's called White Boy. They're based out of Berlin.
I'll track them down. Cool. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for being on the podcast. Thanks for hanging out. And we should start doing a little group of female Mexican technicians or something.
There's very, very, very a lot of very badass out there.
It's true.
It's cool.
Theater at Life is a global media site for entertainment. Memberships start at only $38 per year. You can have unlimited access to our daily published articles, including entertainment news and the writings of active industry professionals, ensuring that you are always up to date on the global happenings in the world of entertainment. Become a part of the international entertainment community and join us now at www.theaterartlife.com.